Yeah, this one goes out there to all the Amazonian leaders and fighters who laid down their life to see a free Amazonian. I want to say respect, General Elfan, all the generals and commanders from the Wild Wild West, Amber City. Yeah. Listen, I be the man of the year. I get chopper. I'm Popo na face to face. I no get bolo. I be the amber boy we come up for file a republic. I the fight for our freedom. No, we will not surrender. Papa go fi seven na and say amber live forever. So any place I go, I no go forget Amazonia. Because I see every day I get for thank God. A lot of fighters no one fight, but the one play. Me I come for yes, so na for fight I no can for play. Because I know say after fight ready play I'm a win. And when you fight, you the feel a man where you don't fight. A brother I can fight, a brother I am black. As I love all my men, they eat some boko red and black. Me man no lie you for that corner border, the high skill. You are so perfect, just the way that you was made, brother. You tell a butterfly, I swear it's a Africa. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya Yabama we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye, no man of it terminal. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya Yabama we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye, no man of it terminal. So with the vision, make we fund the vision. But then they for day, they spray the bullet. They spray the bullet. If it is say I the line, make you go ask the came a Patrick. See boy they be bend the canas. Atanganji, boy they go touch your canas. Boy they go touch your canas. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya Bama we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye, no man of it terminal. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya Bama we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye, no man of it.
Amazonia War of Independence.
Una good evening, my fellow Ambazonians. Una good evening for all una. For all Ambazonia picking away, they don't take the time for joining with this evening. I don't come for cancel una. For all wa papa them and wa mami them, where they don't join with for this evening. Papa and mami them, una good evening for all una. For all wa people them, where they don't go gather for one house for this evening. Say may they watch we, may they listen for we. I don't take the time for say make I can salute all una. Today, I don't can make we can get some story. Where they go out, a lot of talk, it for outside they plenty. And I know say when they expect for hear from we, when they expect for get clarity, when they expect for get the understanding, now what they happen, now what be the direction. So today I don't come, make we can get the most important conversation for today in terms of what the noise and the talk we over plenty for outside there. While people don't they call, they ask, say PS, now what be the clarity, now what be the position, now what they go on. What you want make we understand them. I don't come today. Now for make we can talk about the talk we do over plenty for outside there. Now the question we a lot of Ambazonia they ask them. Now who did lead the Ambazonian War of Independence? Now they talk that way for outside there. They talk way over plenty for outside there. They come up for newspaper. They want them for Facebook, for YouTube. All man. Now who did lead Ambazonian liberation? The second one. Now who Ambazonia they get for consider them as a leader? Today, my work for today. Now make we just get the story and then make all man get the understanding. Now the story for today is. So when I come find, we'll go start small time. When I just give way one moment, make we knock some small fine music and then we'll go start.
Goes out there to all the Ambazonian leaders and fighters who laid down their life to see a free Ambazonia. I want to say respect, General Elfan, all the generals and commander from the Wild Wild West. Amba City, yeah. Listen, I be the man of the year. I get chopper. I'm Popo na face to face and no game baller. I be the Amba boy we come up for file a republic. I the fight for our freedom. No we will not surrender. Papa go fi seven and say Amba live forever. So any place I go I no go forget Ambazonia. Because I see every day I get for thank God. A lot of fighters no one fight but the one play. Me I come for yes so na for fight and no can for play. Because I know say after fight ready play I'ma win. And when you fight you dey feel a man where you don't fight. A brother I can fight, a brother I am black. As I love all my men they eat some boko red and black. Me man no lie you for that gun border the high skill. You are so perfect just the way that you was made brother. You tell a butterfly I swear it's a Africa. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate. So with the vision, make we found the vision. But then for day, they spray the bullet. They spray the bullet. If it is say I the line make you go as a came a Patrick. See boy they be bend the canas. Atanganji po boy they go touch your canas. Boy they go touch your canas. Make you no play with the man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate. Make you no play with the man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate. No munda basic fise vale wale fanga se bom tava fanga se ilena bena varu bongo say. You better rise up and never ever say never. Nigga see my nigga, don't you never say never. I'm fighting hard now, tomorrow is my winning day. Fight hard and see your victory in the right way. By yelling gum, abava kese lesi girling gum. To asangani, I'ma like for your song. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate. Make you no play with a man we don't see war. Dr. Choya man we don't see war. Good strategy, clear roadmap, which I don't see from my eye. No man of it, terminate.
All right, my fellow people, them, when I welcome and when I thank when I again, say when I don't take the time for joining me for this evening time. All money place day, as Mami Wali the talk. All money place day. Wa Mami their place day, wa Papa their place day, wa soldier them who cut una cafe for all the 13 states for Ambazonia. Shake in all day as they talk am. So all man, una welcome. So a lot of talk they go for outside there. Plenty. These activists, that activist, that person, they talk na this one, that person, they talk na this one. All those talk, they only come down to two things. Now, who did lead the Ambazonia War of Independence? Now, who did lead the liberation of Ambazonia? And who be the leader? Now, who Ambazonia they get for call the leader? Now, who Ambazonia they get for see as their leader? Now, the question that way all the talk them where they did for outside there, they boil down to number one, who did lead the Ambazonian people them for liberate them? Number two, therefore, now who get for be considered as the leader? Because my work now for take all the talk the way they did for outside there, for make me be simple for all people them for understand now. For make me be simple for what picking them for understand now. For what papa them, mommy them, all man. No matter who you be, no matter your level of education, whether you go school or you no go school, all will get common sense for understand things. So me, I don't come today now for can't put things for the most common sense way all man get for understand them. Not be na say na only people where they go that big book, or na people where they go for school where they get na only university degree or high school, or they finish high school, or they get, or you get A levels or you not get that. It no matter whether you never go school, but inside you, the real book it dey inside. They call it say sense, common sense. It dey. So make we talk am. Over the last 2 weeks, every night between 12 o'clock for night and 2 o'clock, between 12 and 2 a.m. every night, over the last 14 days, I don't spend them for do a research, for study the top generals for United States Army. For all them, over the recent years, just over the last 15 years, now 2 generals, they get my attention for leadership psychology. 2 generals. 2 for the last 15 years. 2 top generals. And one of those generals, now he come up with a concept where the world use them today. Where they call and say counter-terrorism. Now he designed the counter-terrorism manual where the whole world it use them today. Now he come up with a concept. Now he designed the entire manual, the whole operational manual of counter-terrorism. How you feel win a war, how you feel lead, how you feel solve that kind of problem then with chaos don't cause them. How you feel defeat things like Al-Qaeda and create stability. So when I can't talk for our people then, and it just can't talk like some person will just come off for street for can't talk. We take time for do a lot of research. So today one can talk now from the background of leadership. First of all, I don't do this work as a top leadership strategist for the last 12 years. So I get a lot of experience. Number 1. Number 2, a lot of the work we do are all based on research. Wouldn't they just talk anyhow? For 2020, just for 2020 alone, I read 20 books just for psychology and influence in terms of communication. How many Ambazonian activists or leaders, they don't even read 2 books on the psychology of influence or communication? How many? That one are just for 2020. Just so that we fit serve our people then. So in a game where we understand now, we need just talk because we talk. Why others they talk? We take the time for do the research and for gather the evidence and for gather the facts and organize the science, for do the work, for the way it reflect the quality of leadership for place where the world day. We're not there for ancient times. We're not there for traditional society where any man will just come out because you be chief. Even if you know if you provide water for your people then for drink, you go still consider yourself as chief. Even if for the village where you did it, you know if you organize, bring all the people them together for even get water, make people them for your own village, make they go water for drink. But you be chief. I be chief just because you be chief. Your people not get water, but you still carry yourself as chief. And you know if you bring the village together for how make una create, make that people they get water, clean water for drink. But you don't be chief for years and years and years, since the time they born you, and you don't reach 90 years old, and you be chief, and your people do not get water for drink. And according to Ambazonians, you be a leader. According to the descriptive principle for Ambazonian people, their old orientation, you be a leader. You are not. You get a title, you not be a leader. You not be a leader, you just get a title. Chief. A lot of Ambazonians, they get titles. President, leader. But the thing where it make a person a leader, you know they. The thing where make a person a leader, for the context, that means say for this matter, for Ambazonian liberation, all right? We need to talk, say they be leader for their family. They be leader maybe for their church, yes. But in the matter of the liberation of Ambazonia, now for the talk, now the leadership that will talk. You be leader for your family, yes. For that context for your family, you be leader. For the context for your church, maybe you be leader. Maybe for your quarter or for your country meeting, maybe you be leader. But in the context for the matter of Ambazonian liberation, now the leadership that you will want to get this discussion today. Before we get that discussion, make una listen for the question we ask the leader, and then we will come back for the story.
And move forward as quickly as possible.
Okay, we will be talking about those political compromises. I have some questions for you that have been submitted by the public. Now, let me ask you this. Recently, about 2 weeks ago, there was an audio that was sent out by Jumba Akuro, in which he stated that the leaders held a meeting. Were you invited to that meeting? And if so, why did you not participate?
Yes, I held discussions with some of the organizers, I think a year ago, when they were still doing the planning. But, you know, I have said repeatedly that we should stop calling anyone who creates a two-persons group who comes on Facebook and talk about the Ambazonian struggle a leader of this endeavor. When we do that, we proliferate, you know, the space with everyone. No, everyone is important, but not everyone is a leader. Not because you scream a lot, not because you abuse and attack, that makes you a leader. And there are constituted groups within our struggle. You have the Ambazonian Governing Council that is driving the liberation agenda. You have the IG that came about through the process of hijacking the Skakov initiative. Those are the two principal groups. And I think if we focus on these two principal groups, it will enhance the possibility of collaboration and a more resource liberation agenda that can quicken, you know, Cameroon's demise. I will not, you know, I traveled to Nigeria. I met Siseko. I traveled to the United States. I met Dr. Sako. I met Dr. Akwanga. I met Bo. I met John. I met all of them. It has never worked. Why the so-called bringing leaders together has not worked is because we bring in journalists, we bring in communicators, we bring in political activists in the name of leaders, and we are not able to agree on anything. Secondly, you have some of these groups are constituted under Dr. Sako in ARC, and he should speak for them. He should represent their interest. So I will not be wasting any more time at a particular time when I think we need focus and concentration in enhancing our strategy on the ground. I have made it clear I am open for discussions with the IG on the kinds of compromises which I talked about initially for us to move forward. But it will be a huge distraction and a waste of time and resources, as it has happened in the past 4 years, to always bring together anybody, together anybody and begin some propaganda, begin some deviation, distraction from the core issues that are required. You wouldn't hear these gentlemen, most of them are men, come into a room and emerge, not with a press release, but with $100,000 to buy more arms for our forces at a time when La Republique is increasing its assault on the ground. So I think Ambazonians have recognized those who lead them, and I think they should be focused during the period of transition. Everyone who has been, doing work within constituted groups, whether social media bloggers, prisoners of war, activists, will be constituted in the transitional authority to make.
Okay. I will bring una back for this talk with the leader, the talk. Make we start with the story we all in 1 year today. Ambazonian people there for war, for end Cameroon occupation. Ambazonian people there for war, for save the lives of Ambazonia then, where they face the brutal genocide of a bloodthirsty Bulu dictator, Paul Biya. Ambazonian people, they don't rise up for demand an end to the fraudulent union and liberate their country from La République du Cameroun colonialism and occupation. So now, if we don't have a war, if we want to liberate the land, if we want to free the people, if we want to protect the people, if we want to defend Ambazonia, now what will be required? We don't get this story before, but the time we visit them, because at the years on statement, they will John Bakuro, they make them out there. At the years statement, there were a lot of these empty mob activists then, who they never go, she don't read any book on leadership, or for even define the role of leadership, or for do small basic research about leadership for liberation struggles, for free people then. All right? Empty mob people then, with the bloggers. So, now you get the Ambazonia then for this place that they face a brutal police, brutal colonial gendarmes, brutal army, and a brutal BE where they give them instructions for make sure say they kill the Ambazonian people then, burn their house, send them all for bush so that they force the people then for accept La République du Cameroun occupation and subjugation. Now what the Ambazonia they face on this? So I want to ask them again. Make you ask. Make you ask. Simple question. Now, which of all those people, make you name them. Now, which roadmap John Bakuro we there for outside they making they run him up. Now, which roadmap John Bakuro we can give Ambazonia them? For saying that so we go take them for liberate ourselves. Now, which roadmap? No, nothing. Now, which strategy? No, nothing. Make we go for Bo Herbert. Bo Herbert, Jackie hand for up. He say not like war, he not like no nothing. He not wanting war, he not like violence. No roadmap, no strategy. I don't tell you this one before. I just like a reminder. Same with the other leaders then. Zero roadmap, zero strategy in 4 years. All right? Now, what do we need them for protect the people then? Guns and bullets. Structured army. Of all the groups that they did for outside here. Now which group, which of the movement, it don't consistently focus for organize the boys and for ground, for make sure say they get a code of conduct, they make sure say they be organized, for make sure say they get training, for make sure say they get advice, for make sure say they get a command and control structure, so that no man people need to do things anyhow. Now which one? Or when I the watch, when I make una comments. Now which one? Don't organize people then. Which one? The only defense group we get a total command and control structure from day one. Now the Ambazonia Defense Forces. Any man will be very honest. Any Ambazonian will be honest. You go talk am. Now which group from day one is start the concept of self-defense? For bring people them together and then train them before they go out there, say they want to go fight. Ambazonia Defense Forces. The other group, they come up with what they call and say DOD. What happen? It disappear. They come up with the other one, ARA. What happen? It disappear. Right? So, who is leading Ambazonia liberation? And who should be considered the leader of the liberation? Leadership not been a title. Leadership for all these people, they will study them. Now only one thing define them. Including, what they call it? Including Martin Luther King Jr. The last 2 nights, I just spent them now for study the psychology of what it will make Martin Luther King very effective as the most compelling leader for America history. Martin Luther King Jr. now the most compelling and effective leader for American history. From which you are research the point out. Which will make it effective? Now a title? No. So when it comes for this thing, leadership not been a title. Leadership not been a tribe. Leadership not been a the popularity where you get them. Leadership be defined by one thing. The ability for produce results. Make I talk them again. Leadership, the summary of leadership, now the ability for produce results for a people then. That result, if it be now for build a church, that result, if it be now for feed refugees, but in the context of Ambazonia War of Independence, the results now the liberation of homeland. The results now for ground zero. The test of any person, the measurement of leadership, now the how effective ground zero be. So 2 things. One, leadership means say the ability to produce results. Where in summary, it means say how effective you be. Now all that. How effective you be for lead ground zero. So make you ask, in terms of effectiveness, the ability to produce results, what will be that results? Put defense structure them for ground. Will they be powerful enough? They be strong enough? They be equipped enough for fight the occupation? And give the Ambazonian people them the chance to be free. So make we measure the effectiveness of all the defense group they will do for ground. Because now for here we got for start for tell ourselves the truth. We got for come up for all this blah 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 mama na 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 na. We got for come up for all that talk them. We got for come up for talk for Mimbo House. Alright? And get real for what it matter. For the people, their lives and their future, and what it go become of Ambazonia. Make we look all the groups every day for ground. All the defense groups them. Today, as we talk, 80% of Le BLM it be controlled by the Ambazonia Defense Forces. Field Marshal it be nowhere to be found. The Red Dragons, they don't disappear for thin air. %80 of Le BLM it be controlled by the Ambazonia Defense Forces. Very interesting, right? Structures. Now, which other defense group we there for ground? Where it be well organized and it get a command and control structure where all man know am. When I name am, move start from Manu. Now, which defense group there for Manu? Where all man know am as a good defense group with a command and control structure under a political leadership. Now, which one? Maybe we go for Meme. Which defense group there for Meme? Under a total command and control, we all wanna know them. Wanna know the general. Wanna know the group, the political organization where that group fall under. Now, which one? We'll go for FACO. Which group they for FACO? We all wanna know them. It be powerful. It be strong. It be well equipped. They be well trained. They fall under a political leadership and they got a command and control structure. Now, which one? We'll go for Ndian. Which one? We'll go for Coupe. Which one? That one only for the Atlantic stake than that. 0. Now for they talk to the rubber meet the road. The rubber meets the road. Now for they talk. Now that can't talk that now. We go for come up from Mimbo House talk. For being real with ourselves. And stop all these lies. And all this empty talk and noise. Make we get real. Be honest. I just ask simple basic question. And no person of it provide an answer. We'll go for Le BLM. Who's a Red Dragon Day today? The whole game, we don't play with the Ambazonia people them. It don't melt. Field Marshal be on the run. The two, La République, the B Barrack and the army camp will be there for Wabane. Last month, the new force, the stabilization force, they launched 2 attacks for they don't drive La République to come for Wabane. I just ask, of all these groups that they for outside that they call themselves leaders, now which one will not know any of their general? Now which one will not know say that their general this? We work under them. We control their forces. Now which one? They don't put a command and control structure. And will not know say that their structure this, that their general this. Now which one? I want you just adjust the ask. I wanna know say that general they lead their forces. Now which one? Now whenever when I don't see they buy 10 AK, they give them for a group 10 and they take the video put them for outside for one. Now which one? When? Any person where you get a video where any political movement with the for outside here. He buy 10 AK one time. 10 AK. He give them for one group. If you produce that video, we will know the date and the time and the group where they give them those materials. 10 AK one time. I go give you $200. I'll give you 200,000 amber. When I $400. Now which one? None. But we want to be free. And every day, people that they come out outside, that they shout every day, I be president, na me I be leader, na me I be this. Then, when they go for television, international journalists, they ask them a small question about the same organization where they say they create them. They ask them the same question. Like the other day, Yerima go for South African Broadcasting Corporation. Say you be a government. Who make you a government? How you talk to you be a government? Who elect you? When those elections they take place? Enough you answer them. Because you don't meet the international standard of how a government be formed. And they know them. That's why I don't be fit for answer those questions. But they don't carry that chief cap. They put them. I be chief. I be chief. I be chief. I be chief. Even when the people they under occupation. When I can show me 10 guns. 10. Only 10. 10 guns. 5 and 5. 10 guns. When they buy at one time, they say this group when I take and 10 guns and this. Can't show me. I go give you 200,000 amber. So it bring me for this talk. From 2017 so to a carry shot today. Dr. Akwanga try. We got for give credit. Akwanga try. Between 2017 and 2018. For those 2 years, Dr. Akwanga tried with SOCADEF. He tried. Now, only one thing. It make Dr. Akwanga, he lost his importance as an Ambazonian liberation leader. He not be build a structure. He not be take the time for build a political structure where it will give you the ability for do good work. And since we build a political structure, it not be build APLM for get a good structure. Dr. Akwanga not be fit for raise the money for continue for support SOCADEF. And that's why I fail. It not be fit for rally good people them. Where they feel believe for a vision. And they believe for what they try for doing for ground. It not be fit for doing. And the only reason that way Dr. Akwanga failed. If he be rally himself with good talent, where they feel supportive for with the work, so can therefore still be strong. So the only person who even come close, not Dr. Akwanga. So since 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, people don't get 4 years. Even if you not be know how to do something, at least the last 4 years, they will give you experience. You will see say things don't change. You go reorientate yourself. They not still do them. So 4 years later, people that they carry this title for their head. And John Bakuro that they still run around. I be leader, I be leader, I be leader. But wait till you did lead on. Wait till be the priority of what you did lead on. You did lead on who? You did lead who and you did lead on what? With the essential priority for the liberation. You don't want to participate there. You don't want to talk about it because una have no one be there. Una the fear blood. Una the fear die. Una the fear me the well know talk say una carry gun. But una want be leader. It is like chief for village. I be chief. But my people not get water for drink. But I be chief. Now that you make most Ambazonian leader than that. Leadership by title. It not make you a leader. So, wait till the free war people then. Now because of a structured self-defense for ground. Wait till don't project Ambazonian people then. Now because of a structured self-defense for ground. If a structured self-defense not for day, Ambazonia therefore don't be crushed a long time ago by La République du Cameroon. This thing for don't be over. And Paul Biya for don't kill all people the way they did for prison. The only reason why they never kill the one the way they did for prison. Now because of how Ground Zero is strong. If Ground Zero not be strong, all them so they for don't wipe all man out. As they be sentenced them, so too they for kill them. So we get to understand this talk about who did lead the Ambazonian people them. Who did lead the liberation. The Ambazonia Defense Forces. Now the pillar for Ambazonia liberation. From day one. In terms of the kind of action they don't carry out. In terms of how they don't project Ambazonia. For 2017, when the ADF, they carry a foreign journalist, they enter with them for Ground Zero, a German journalist, enter with them for Ground Zero, make it film the fight, so that the fit put them for outside, for sure to be a structured people then, who get a command and control. What will happen? Oh, the one go sell fighters. Not so they tell you now. But they not be understand say they say now for project the resistance and project the forces. Because until the forces they get a name, they get an identity, they get a leadership where it be identifiable. If not be so, they will consider them as terrorist group. And they be under political leadership. They start for Project Ground Zero. They start for Project Ground Zero. For show how organized our people they be. General Ivo come up. It changed the whole fight. Ivo become the embodiment of the armed resistance and the face of the war for Ground Zero. In terms of leadership and community mobilization. In terms of the ability for mobilize and educate our communities then. I will start for build community schools for Ambazonia. Way in the 2017. I will start for form the ground. Form the ground. Form the ground. Form the ground. For outside here, Dr. Eba start for guide Ambazonians, motivate Ambazonians, inspire Ambazonians, mobilize, and continuously tell we, say we must follow a specific roadmap. The only movement we give the Ambazonian people them a roadmap and a strategy. Wait till this day. Now we will follow them. For measure our success and our progress. Now we all team it revolve around that strategy. So the question of who did lead the liberation, it be answered by now who get the most, now which movement it don't provide the most organized self-defense for ground. with a total command and control structure. Just for talk say I get boys on the ground not be enough. How organized they be, how structured they be, how equipped they be. And number 2, those force, they be known. Can they be seen? Can the force be known by its leadership? Can the force be seen? And can the force be identified? The force be known? People, if you see the force, can the force be identified? We don't ask them. I don't ask you this question many times. Because the other people them, the other 2 group them. I don't want to call names today. I don't want to call names. The other 2 group them. When I one, but they don't divide. When I know them. They claim say they get one force. And they call that force restoration forces. 2 groups. They claim say they get one force. And all them, they claim say that they get that group. Both of them. A general way they control that force, Ambazonian they don't know. A general way they lead that force with 2 groups that they claim, say that they get them. No man don't know. Okay? The force not get an identity. The force not be known. And it not be seen. Because it not get an identity where any person feel identify with the force. It not get a command and control structure where any person feel identify with the force. Alright? So now we understand the game. Who be the general? Nobody knows. What is the command and control structure? Nobody knows. Now the deception and manipulation this. Why that force not be organized after 4 years? Ask yourself, why that force it never be organized and get a face, get a general where all man fi identify say, now the general of that force this. When I not fi answer the question, and go ask those people then. Why? Because they don't want to take the responsibility. Alright? They don't want to take the responsibility of that force. They want to take credit without responsibility. So that's why the new one organize these boys them under a total command and control structure. Because once you organize them, you now be forced for provide materials. You now be forced for bear responsibility for their actions. So that's why a lot of other groups then, they go hide under generic names. Like restoration forces. Now a generic name. No man no get them. No man no own them. Most of those boys, they do on their own. No money provide them with weapons. No money provide them with feeding. No man will take care of them when they be sick. That's why a lot of blocks it be very weak. Now the whole manipulation this. So that's why they only can't take this credit, can't claim this thing. So that's why we go for move all this lie them, move all this manipulation on them, move all this brainwashing for our people them. Wash our people their face, clean our people their head. So that no person who will manipulate the Ambazonian people them anymore. So this one now bring we. What is left on the ground in terms of defense structure? ADF get 83 brigades. Most of their commanders, they wanna know them. For all the places, wanna know almost all their commanders them. They get a name, they get a face, wanna know them, wanna feel identify the forces. Now, for can't change the game for the Ambazonian people them. Over in 2004, for October 2020, Dr. Abakan tell one about Akamatsu and why we go for build a stabilization force. He explained for all Ambazonians why it be important and what he go give the Ambazonian people them. What he go do them? Structural leadership, effectiveness, based on results, based on the things and way place who they and what he go move it forward. Now, which other leader it defined the strategy for ground? First, Dr. Abba defined, make the territory ungovernable, stop economic exploitation, make La République du Cameroun a loss, delegitimize La République du Cameroun for Ambazonia. Yes. It gives you that basic roadmap. Number two, it tells we say, we got for internationalize our struggle. We got for sell our struggle to the world for a certain way. Number three, we got for use what did happen for ground and we would sell our struggle to the international community for do targeted diplomacy. So we give with a triad approach, a 3-step process for Ambazonia for gain recognition and independence. It lay them all out for we. It come back, say, we got for take certain actions for ground, for become an international contender. That means say, make the matter not remain for poor behind hand when La République du Cameroun it get the right for describe and prescribe the solution then, where Ambazonia the fee accept them. It talks no, the reason for make the territory ungovernable, stop economic exploitation, and delegitimize La République du Cameroun. Now for move the matter from Cameroon in hand and put them for the hand for the international system. We achieve that one. Once we achieve them, it's okay, now we don't achieve them. But we got for behave a certain way and we got for make ground zero a certain way. For be on the table. We don't know the call we anymore. Say na people for Northwest and Southwest. They know the talks they say na just people there they protest. But na say na a matter between the people of Southern Cameroons and the people of La République du Cameroun. Itewi. So we get for become an international contender. It can't tell we for 2018. Why it be important? And by 2019, it can tell we say we don't become an international contender. That means say the world, it don't recognize Ambazonians as a separate party to the conflict from La République du Cameroun. There is no other Ambazonian leader. None. If any one day, where it be measure, what you need for do for we for achieve, for gain international confidence and become a party to the conflict. If they become explainer for you, they can't explain them for we. Please, I be able. I go still offer the challenge. Go through all the videos, 2018, 2019. Go take any video with any leader. If we can't give the Ambazonian people them a strategy for them for gain international contenderhood, I go still put another $200 for down. None. Zero. We say we don't achieve international contenderhood. The talk for the international community change. Right? Now that time, we say based on the targeted diplomacy the way that they do them. It don't help for move the matter when a Cameroon get hand for solve the problem and make Ambazonian people them happy. To now that matter now don't be now for the hand for the international system. So that the palaver now between Ambazonia and Cameroon not be a matter of Northwest and Southwest. We achieve that stage. It can't tell we say if we do certain things, we go defeat La République du Cameroun. It can't tell we say we don't get dynamic control for ground zero. Yes? It be tell we not be so. For every stage, if it define them, if it tell we place where they, because now it be lay the strategy. If you not be lay your strategy, you not go no place where you dey. If you not get the GPS, because a GPS as a guidance system for take you from your beginning point to your point of destination. If you not be lay a strategy in a GPS, it's a guidance system for guide you. Say now for you day, now the thing that this way you got for now how much you need for travel this. For each step of the way, this man tell we. Now so we don't work a rich. Now so we don't work a rich. Now the thing this will go for do am now from here for reach another place. He can't tell we. Any other leader, I want ask him. I beg. my people them. Any other leader, any other movement a day, we don't consistently can't describe them and tell the Ambazonian people them for public. Say my people them. Now the plan this will be put on for achieve recognition for free what people them. Now the plan this, and now the thing that this will don't do them, now the thing that this will don't do them, now the thing that this will don't do them. See the place we don't reach because we don't do 1, 2, and 3. Any other person be there from our experience for be involved every day. We never see no nothing. I be chief. Now the language that. I be chief. Now all that. I be chief. I be president. I be this group. I be that group. Now all that. Apart from those talks, apart from that empty talk them, any other action, I want to ask una be real. How many guns Dr. Kwanga, he don't put them for ground zero? How many? Since 2018. So to carry show now. How many guns? How many? When I don't see forces them anymore. Since 2018 or 2019. When I don't see the forces of Sokadef anymore. How many guns? John Bakuro don't put even one soldier for ground zero for now. But I be leader. How many guns? Or soldier? Bohebe don't put them for ground zero. But I be leader. Not to talk of the other one them. Una show me. So now what it be the noise? Now what it be all this talk for outside here? Why would you waste your time for talk about the things and where they not even matter? For people where they need to do anything other than claim every day, say they be leaders from Ambazonia. And the only thing where they want them, now the title say they be leader. That's all they want. Just the title. Leadership by title. When I come as a leadership coach and a trainer, I fit give una the title if una want them. I fit issue una that title I give una. I send them for una. For make them at least me be official. Okay? I want to just be honest with ourselves. So what to be all this talk where they confuse Ambazonia them every day? What to be all this talk where they confuse what people them on ground zero every day? What to be all this talk? What to be all this useless empty talk? Where they cause division for Ambazonia people them every day? By people them way all what they want at just titles. And for rip from the Ambazonian people them. For make a living from the revolution. Or maybe build a career from the revolution. That's all. All what you want to see, all this screaming, all this noise. Now titles for people who don't see the Ambazonian War of Independence as a game. They want game the war. They want game the people. But they don't want to give the people them the collars where they need them for clear the farm, for farming season. That's why we've already finished or clean the Republic for our country. Now all these distractions, will not be distracted anymore. Now the same thing with the pigs. Since they take Ambazonia their money, they wash, they chop and sew FIP with their group of failed activists. Where they push the agenda, until all them become irrelevant. Because of what they do for the Ambazonia people. Because of the wickedness. For raise money on behalf of the people them. And then carry all the money, she don't embezzle them all. Abandon ground zero. And then turn ground zero into chaos. And most of those boys then they not be get any choice than for turn for bad behaviors. As a desperate means for keep themselves alive and protect themselves. And since then, any man now start for fight for your own survival, for remain politically relevant, but not enough for achieve the objective for which the people they rise up for fight for, but not just for remain politically relevant, and for get some form of for be a stake for the war of independence. So most of them they just tie their hand for back. Now all these they do for back. They tie their hand, they shit on. Just the wait. Any day we Paul Biya call for some form of negotiation. And you ask them, so your own role now, not just wait for negotiation. And if Ground Zero be defeated, then there's no negotiation. If La Republique it move in, it crush the small resistance, just like they be helped through their own system, they be created with the system of confusion for weaken Manu, weaken Meme, weaken Fako, and La Republique be almost take back control of Ambazonia. Thank God. Say leaders need sleep. Thank God say I will not be the sleep. Thank God say General F will not be the sleep. Thank God say Dr. Aiba who is for outside here. It work from country to country. For remind Ambazonians for stay on course on the strategy. For continuously provide the arms on the ground. 2019, 2018, it toured almost 7 countries around the world for mobilized Ambazonians, including Canada. 2019, it made the same tour for 2020 na coronavirus stopper. But it continuously for engage Ambazonians all over the world through Zoom. And get community meeting them. Make what people they stay on course. Say if we move one hand, I will not provide guns. The revolution, the liberation will fail. And Ambazonia will become permanently a conquered people. We don't come this far. Now because of the consistency, the sacrifices, and the commitment for make sure say Ground Zero not fail. For make sure say they not kill the prisoners. The only reason we Paul Biya not be killed the one the way they go catch them for Nigeria and all the other one them. Now because of the strength on the ground. The reason we succeed today. Now because of that focus. And because after all the noise, it stand the test of time in terms of character, consistency, discipline, and the dedication we all we no man ever seen before. Just for make sure say Ground Zero remains strong. Without self-defense, without the armed struggle, there is no liberation. Everything for don't fail. Like the public grand dialogue, if you don't be at the cement where they take and stamp the occupation permanently, and the special status, if you don't become the reconciliation, and the House of Chiefs, if you don't become the whitewash and the new form of manipulation for blindfold the people them and give them empty promises where they don't mean anything for their lives. That the same old policies, they just change their names. Say decentralization and special status. The reason why those things they fail, the reason why their grand dialogue fail, decentralization fail, special status fail, now because of the commitment for putting more guns on the ground, and for disrupt all their activities tactically, strategically. Not been because some people they shit on for outside here, they begin to raise their mob, say they be government, or they be this leader, or they be that leader, or they be that leader. All those things would defeat those things. Now by the force on the ground. Now by a strategy where it gets so much power, if it disrupt their military operations and disrupt elections, and then killed the colonial agenda while projecting Ambazonian power, Ambazonian defiance. If self-defense not for day, Ghost Town for don't die. School boycott for don't die. The only thing we keep Ghost Town to go today, now because of the forces of ground. The only thing we keep the colonial school boycott effective, now because of the forces of ground. Because now they become instrument for implement the liberation and give the communities and the people the hope for the men committed, dedicated, and resilient. Very important. Muna not forget. So when we don't come this far, the question of who did lead the liberation, now question will already be answered by results. You need the answer now because some man give you a title. You need the answer that question now because some people they go gather for some place and they give themselves a name, an entitlement. Who did lead the liberation? It be answered now by the structures on the ground. By the forces, the power of the guns on the ground. Now by the strategy. Who define the strategy and build the most powerful force for the Ambazonian people them on the ground, and the person that lead the liberation. Now the result that lead the liberation. So for answer that question, now by results, not be by title. Number 2. So who did lead the liberation? And who did lead? The person where he give you the roadmap, he give you the strategy, and he be tell Ambazonian from day one, saying that self-defense be the key to a struggle. And he put 90% of all his time and effort and energy for build that self-defense for Ambazonia then, for the way the world, you know, go tack what did happen for Ground Zero as act of terrorism. Now, Dr. Ayaba Cho and the Governing Council of Ambazonia. So the Governing Council of Ambazonia now be the leading movement. Now the Governing Council of Ambazonia be the leadership of Ambazonia liberation. So the Governing Council of Ambazonia, they like ANC. Back in the days for the South African people then too. Plenty group they be there. But the ANC, it be the leading movement for lead the liberation of South African people then. So too for Ambazonia War of Independence. Plenty movement the day. The one we don't become more effective. The one we don't deliver the results for the Ambazonian people then. The one we be more structured. The one we don't get the highest respect. Now the Governing Council of Ambazonia. So how it lead? It lead on the ground. It lead diplomatically. For 2020, why all people that be make all this noise about Swiss talks? Since all man be no say it be not just jama for delay the Ambazonian people then may probably implement a special status. And then Ground Zero go die for self-defense. Once the world understands say seriousness not be day, what will happen? They abandon them. During that period, the Governing Council of Ambazonia start negotiations and talks. It start preliminary negotiations and talks directly with the United Nations. Directly with the United Nations and key international partners. Until recently, the leader can't tell the Ambazonian people say the talks between the Governing Council of Ambazonia and Cameroon through the United Nations, it don't fail because there be the work and arrangement for get Cameroon for officially commit to a credible negotiation under the United Nations. The leader come, he can't tell the Ambazonian people say those talks where they be take place between the Governing Council of Ambazonia and the United Nations, where the United Nations be appoint Francois Faure for represent the United Nations and the Cameroon delegation by their own person. He said those talks they don't fail. He can't tell now. Because Cameroon failed for commit. The leader moved in for give the Ambazonian people them the stabilization force. For change the game for ground. As Cameroon failed for commit, at the time that the leader say, we get for increase the game on the ground and project Ambazonia so that Cameroon will get any choice. When the other one them, they be talk about Swiss talks. Now how many guns they be put on for ground? Why did they talk about Swiss talks? I want to ask you now. They wash their hand for Ground Zero. As long as they don't go, they get Swiss talks. Ground Zero, not concern them. Whether they talk, they go forward or not, it not concern them. You now remember, for 2 years, and even till today, they still carry for their head. They forget about Ground Zero. Now the leadership this. Now the difference this. Even when Dr. Ayaba be the talked, they be the work on a program for get Cameroon for commit through the United Nations. And they be get those preliminary talks through the UN. It be the focus of build the stabilization force. Focus. And today, when I see the results, it changed everything for the Ambazonian people then. The day when they launched the stabilization force, the next day, what happened with Macron? Macron said, Chai! Pobia. Not be when I be tell we say, when I do already, they bring things in for normal. For una nose, Pobia, now for your nose. For inside the same territory, where you claim say when I don't win the war, When I don't bring things in for normal. Now how for inside that same territory, the Ambazonia Defense Forces is still be able for train forces, move forces them, control territory, so that the general they drive for moto for control territory. And they show on far side, it changed the game. The international community say, chai, these people they lie. Now we know what did happen. Macron, he move a letter, he write letter, send person from France to La République du Cameroon the next day, and give the French ambassador, say take and go give for Paul Biya for your hand. The game change. When I see the US, the UK House of Parliament, Oga Sir Edward, he woke up for what he don't see him for ground zero. He woke up, challenge the UK government. He said, now when I be betray the people of Southern Cameroons, when I must produce that justice now. Canada come out. They say, chai, okay, this game don't change. Canada come out. Finish him. He said they must hold Paul Biya accountable for all the atrocities. And then they must send an international, they must form an international commission for go investigate all the human rights abuses. Now when the ever talk them, until we show force and tell them so we must take the land by force. We must reclaim our land by force. Once we show the force and the Siam, how they call it, Mandela be talking. He say a leader, if you be a leader, you must be seen to be, you know if he talks at the lead, but leadership must be seen to be leading. That's what Mandela talking. We go for show the leadership. Not be for come out every day. Now go on for chess. I be leader. And you know if it produce results where people they feel see them, and therefore it convince people say you be a leader. Because a leader be judged now by the results. We not be honest with ourselves. Now, which results? All these people, they don't produce them in terms of war of liberation. Which results? We not take each one of them. Take paper, take pen. Write a name. Write them. John Bakuro. You write the results, you don't produce them. Where he help ground zero for become stronger. Take a name. Write them. Go write them. Write. Wait you don't do them for make ground zero may become stronger for the liberation. Move to the next person. Bo Herbert. Write a name. Wait you don't do them for move ground zero may become stronger. And then you move to the next person. You take all them, write them all. You go come to the same conclusion. Now objectivity that. Now so you go take them. You clean your own head. And you don't live and make any person manipulate you. Now the generation this. So now we don't get to this point. We get to stay focused on the plan. All this talk, it brings me for one thing. The Governing Council of Ambazonia, it give the Ambazonian people them a guaranteed plan. We don't consistently produce the results for move Ambazonia them each step further. One step forward, one step forward, one step forward. And now, we're there for the finish line. We will not be carried away by people that record themselves say, I be chief. But they not give their people the water for drink. And the village, no get water, baby chief. Ambazonians are there for war of liberation. The best way they buy the guns, build the army, structure the army, and put them for under a command and control where you get respect. Now the leader that. And I the lead. Because until we move for all, we come up for all this talk them, where people go continue for be divided, where people go be manipulated, where people go be distracted, where go now for mobilize where people them for things for something we go move all the way forward. Since people do not get the capacity, they not get the capability, and they not get the commitment for do this kind of work. The governing council don't prove them for the people them. Now the people, they are liberation leadership. And as the leader don't talk them, for lead the people them into liberation, for lead the people them for freedom. Time go reach with John Bakuro, Bo Herbert, Chris Anus, the Sakos, the Akwangas, the Abdul Karims, their time go reach where they go be where they will get they go get a role to play. All right, their time go reach. For now, that time never reach. Now for liberate the land. Now for focus on people them. Now for stabilize the ground and stop the suffering and the pain. We don't take over the land. The issues of kidnapping for ransom. Because of the defeat of Cameroon. Because of the ungovernable spaces. We order no day. Security no day. Any person they out there, any other leader they way it go. Now for make sure say Ground Zero be stable. Now the conversation that any person they out there way their goal now for make sure say Ground Zero be stabilized. And we'll get a force. Whether you call that force na police force or anyhow we call them. We go feed do that kind of work. Any person they out there for all these people they when I call them when I leaders. Anyone they out there with a program for help Ambazonia to do this thing for ground? Anyone? I'm curious. Other than the Akamatsu and these special forces they would put them. Any other thing they out there? I'm curious. Una stop for call chiefs. People the way they with their natural title na chiefs. Una stop for call them leaders. Na traditional chiefs. The next day we jump back, Koro, come on, can't tell una say, I'm a leader of this. Tell you say you are not a leader. Because you are not leading in anything. And you are not leading anyone. You be a chief. You be a chief. Because for all which you talk and the description of which you talk, you just be a chief. You are a chief. Alright? So Muna relax. Muna cool down. There is no argument not there for these things. All those intellectual debates and little Facebook and social media argument. You need to move for people and forward. That's what we get for be honest. We get for provide this kind honest education, honest conversation based on empirical evidence and facts. Not be based on big noise, loud talking noise, people they knock their hand for chest and they get big name them. If you strip all those things away, it go boil down to nothingness. Strip all those things away. Take all those things off. You go realize and say, all Bibina just empty talk. There is no substance. It not be based on any facts. It not be based on any measurable results, any quantifiable results. Where person fit measure your role, your effectiveness in the context of which the people that he asked for. The reason for this conversation, now for mobilize our people them, for center our people them, for what he go give what you want them, for what he go give our people them what they ask for what he go help for liberate our people them. Now the reason this will get this conversation. The more objective and open-minded will be, and for be truthful and honest as a people, it go the better decisions and we go make them, the better clarity we go get them, better decision them for Wusa we go pour our resources for get the greatest outcome for the Ambazonian people them. Where it guarantee for say what people they get what they ask for. All right? Now the whole essence is for this conversation. No be for say some person be more important than another. No human being not be more important than another. With the measure na effectiveness. Who be more effective? Now which will the measure that? Now which strategy be more effective? And they don't deliver with the greatest amount of results, with the highest focus in terms of resources. For all the resources where the Ambazonian people don't give the governing council of Ambazonia. They don't deliver on the results. For all the projects where they ask for contributions, they produce results and the evidence they be presented by those results. Between October and December, for a period of 3 months, for the money we will not give for the governing council of Ambazonia for the stabilization project, they take the evidence, they produce the results for una, and they hand una forces. We all wanna see them. Now, which other group would ever do this kind of thing? Now, the effectiveness that. So if you measure them, that's what we get for move for phase 2. And one can tell una today, Cameroon don't be defeated. And Cameroon, una see say over the last 1 week or so, Cameroon forces them. They don't slow down their attack for Ambazonia fighters. If you don't see them, if you pay attention, over the last 1 week, Cameroon need to carry out actions again. They don't slow down. The rate at which they kill Ambazonia civilians, it don't reduce drastically. Pay attention. Over the last 2 weeks or 1 week, the attack for Ambazonia fighters, it don't reduce drastically. Cameroon killings of Ambazonian civilians, it don't reduce drastically. The burnings of Ambazonian homes and businesses, it don't reduce drastically. You don't ask yourself why. You don't ask yourself why. Why this over the last 2 weeks or so? Since this force, it don't be launched, and they don't really see this force. Why be say Cameroon attack for Ambazonia fighters, it don't reduce? Why be say Cameroon police, army, B and gendarme, they need to overkill Ambazonians many more? You don't ask yourself why. Now the thing is so that they fear them. Akamatsu, it don't make Cameroon army. They don't panic. They fear for come off outside. That attack where Ambazonia Defense Forces they use that their special weapon where they don't make them. Where the enter armor car. When I remember, when I give me a moment, I show now. Which I mean. Now give me a moment here. Make a pull now that picture for up. When I remember that armor car This one, I put them for up here. I beg, una just give a moment. I want to show you something very important. Something don't change for ground zero. And what people they need for know what it don't change. I'll just give you a moment. Una bear away, please. Be very important when I know what it happen. Be very, very important for our people them. I put them for una for up here. So that una will know what it don't change for this war of independence. So that una go trust the strategy. Una go believe more. I put up this picture for una. For tell una what it don't change for ground zero. And while the Republic of Cameroon don't start for pack out of Ambazonia. I beg una bear with we. We'll put up the picture for una here. I just sort out the picture, I beg. It be very, very important for all man to understand what you don't change for ground zero. And while the Republic don't the pick body run. The game don't change. Things they don't change totally. They don't feel come outside again. And when I need to know why. So not be not only empty talk. Empty talk need to liberate the people. I did read una comments them. All man need for know what did happen. A lot of things that happen for ground zero. That's how we get for give our people them the right perspective. Through evidence. For saying that the action this way when they carry them, and that the result then this way when they get them. When I watch Mark, when I just give me a moment here, make I sort out this thing. I get thousands of these documents them. I don't come close. I'm going to get close to it. Cameroon on the pick ball run. But why did the pick ball run now? That's the question they I need for the action. Why they need to kill civilian them again as much? It don't really slow down. We don't slow them down to almost 90% in the last 2 weeks. Why in the last 2 weeks the attack on Ambazonian fighters don't reduce? Now in this. When I remember this picture, for that. When I remember this picture where ADF they carry out that action for Bui and the weapon where ADF they design them and they make them for ground zero. When I remember this action for this armor car for that ADF weapon, this is their weapon where it boss armor car. Since this action, La République du Cameroun, they don't carry their hand, they put them for their head. They say now the only thing will be to keep them from Ambazonia. Now Amoka. Now we ADF, it don't create a weapon. Where if they shoot them, it bust Amoka and kill those people that inside the Amoka. And it destroy the Amoka. How they will manify the war again? Now they think this way, it don't make La République du Cameroun. They fear now for enter Ambazonia territories. Now their biggest fear this. Because now they know say for those Amoka they not be safe anymore. Secondly, since the launch the stabilization force, La République du Cameroun Right after the launch am, they see the kind attacks and way ADF carry am. They know now say the nature of the war, na a different war. In the last 2 weeks, they never feel for come outside. As a result, their killings of Ambazonian civilians, it don't be reduced by 90%. Because they don't fit enter, they fear for come outside, go do those crimes. Very good thing for our people them. How many lives we don't save them? How many young Ambazonian boys them, girls them, mommy and papa them, their lives we don't prevent them and save them? Their attacks on camps and fighters, it don't drop to 90% in the last 2 weeks. Because of the fear. So, I want to appeal for all we, the intelligent, dedicated Ambazonians them, where they not believe for noise. They believe in a hard work and the focus for strengthening ground zero. Now I go finally finish this work for this chapter of our history. Now those people that I talk to. I need to talk to people the way they like na Kongosa. I need to talk to the people the way they like na drama. I need to talk to people the way they like na noise. I need to talk to people the way they be intelligent, they be truthful, they be honest, they be objective, they believe for sense, they believe for strategy, they believe for effectiveness, and they believe say if we do the right thing and the right strategy, we implement the right strategy, we take the right action for our people then. As we don't take them, we go quickly. I think say from the estimate that we get them from expert, 2021 will be a whole turning point for Ambazonia them. With the way things that they go, by the time one launch stabilization force phase 2, we go to see La République du Cameroun de Amoka. They go to cross Mongo Bridge, go back to La République du Cameroun. By the time one launch phase 2 of the stabilization force, we go to hear say a lot of Cameroon police, army B and gendarme, they don't resign. In their numbers, we go to hear them. It be very important for we to stay focused. That weapon where ADF, the designer, where it the boss ammo car, it don't be the team where it don't cost Cameroon. Now they got to go back and go try for check sense again. How the fee money can start all over again for Ambazonia. With the coming of the stabilization force, it don't give a different level of confidence to the international community about Ambazonia. Say it don't be over for Cameroon. Say the dynamic control or the dynamic defeat. Now Ambazonia defeat start to take static control and start to govern themselves. Now we get to assure the international community through our actions, the way we will stabilize the ground and the kind force we will project them. Say with the defeat of Cameroon, Ambazonia no go become a failed state. It no go become a land of chaos. And therefore, terrorists and criminals, they go take over the land and they turn them like Central Africa. But with the kind force who will project them, with total command and control, with that kind leadership, and that kind training, and that kind discipline, we will start for guarantee peace, security, and the protection of the Ambazonian people then. Say with the collapse of Cameroon, with the defeat of Cameroon, with the fact that their police, be gendarme and army, the world be trust them for provide peace, security, and stability, and the protection of the civilian population, that the world will trust them as the occupying power. Now with the occupying power don't be defeated, a security vacuum, a stability vacuum, a peace vacuum, it don't be created for what Dr. Ebadi call and say ungovernable spaces. It don't be created. For we, for gain the respect of the world, now we go for fill in that vacuum and the stabilization force, now for project the power, for guarantee the international system. Say we're not going to leave that vacuum when the bad actors, Boko Haram, and all the colonial bad actors, where La Republic going to use them for punish Ambazonia for their defeat, for do all this, all the kidnapping for ransom, the thief, so that Ambazonian people will abandon the quest for independence. That's why Dr. Ababi get the sense for creating a stabilization force as a confidence building measure, as a confidence building mechanism, both for our people and for ground. Say as we don't defeat Cameroon, we fit defend una, we fit protect una, and we fit bring peace, security, and stability for our people then. Number two, as a confidence building measure for the international system. Say with the defeat of Cameroon, the Ambazonian people, they take immediate control for make sure say Ambazonia we there for the Gulf of Guinea, the most important place for Africa. It will get peace, security, and stability under the new ownership of the people that they get the land. That's why it be important. We do all these things for sense. And that's why the talk for the international system don't change. That's why their language, it don't change. That's why they feel move that kind of resolution them. That's why Nadot, it is stand now for French Parliament, the knock in hand for table. And Sir Edwards, or Sir Edward Leith, for UK, it did knock in hand for table for the UK Parliament. Tell them, say, those people don't rise. Make us stand with them. Now the reason this way you need effective leadership, no be noise. Now the reason this way you want leadership way, it be hard working, it be proactive, with the think ahead. Take the actions of the future now and guarantee future results now. Based on foresight. And that foresight, it comes from experience. With Dr. Abadan gather them for study Cameroon over the last 30 years and for study how the international system will work. That's how they win. We go win as a people. Now one Ambazonia will be for all man. The freedom now for all we. Including Bo Herbert, including John Barcoros, including Chris Anus, including Sakos, including all those people. The freedom now for them too. The only difference is the effectiveness of AGOFC. So even Bo Herbert, Chris Anu, John Bakoro, Sakos, that the governing council of Ambazonia delete everybody based on their effectiveness, the freedom for all man. So, Big Brother Bo, you know about need for the over fear. Ambazonia, there will be a space for everybody for Ambazonia. My brother John Bakoro, when I no need for the over fear, when I no lose any relevance. Time will be when I go get a meaningful role for playing for them for Ambazonia. So when I no need for the over shake, I no need for the over shake, when I no need for the over worry. We are not leaving anybody behind. We leave nobody behind. We move all man together. When I know over the shake, there's no need for begin to make too much noise. For the panic There's no need for the panic. Say they will leave me behind, they will leave me behind. I will lose my relevance. You're not going to lose any relevance if you get value for offer and for the future state. But you will lose your relevance if during this period where Ambazonia did win, you turn yourself into an agent provocateur. You turn yourself into a saboteur. You turn yourself to be an obstructionist. That's when you will be left behind. But if you understand, say, there is something very effective, then you will get contribution from Mecca. For the future state of Ambazonia, everybody will get a role to play. As for the liberation phase, the Governing Council of Ambazonia, it will lead the liberation phase and give the Ambazonian people them the freedom where they deserve them, because they don't prove them. Make we finish this talk by listening to what the leader talking.
We build systems that will be implanted for the everybody. Bring together anybody and begin some propaganda, begin some deviation, distraction from the core issues that are required. You wouldn't hear these gentlemen, most of them are men, come into a room and emerge, not with a press release, but with $100,000 to buy more arms for our forces at a time when La Republique is increasing its assault on the ground. So I think Ambazonians have recognized those who lead them, and I think they should be focused during the period of transition. Everyone who has been, doing work within constituted groups, whether social media bloggers, prisoners of war, activists, will be constituted in the transitional authority to make sure that we build the systems that will be implanted for the period of governance. And anyone who wants to lead, who wants to become a politician, will present themselves in their constituency to be elected into parliament. And if they have the majority seat in parliament, they can become the head of government.
So, my people, when I don't hear from the leader SSF, now the place that would go, and the direction that we could stay focused. Make us stay focused for the second phase for the stabilization force. The leader will travel across the globe for meetup or country meeting them. So if you be president for an Ambazonian country meeting for diaspora, we would like to visit your country meeting and address una. For give una an update for una constituency. Ambazonians they day for the various countries. The leader would like to visit with una, speak with una, and explain place where they and the small work we need for doing. For conclude this chapter for the Ambazonian people as a people. For all the AGOVC missions across the globe, the leader would come back for una, for visit with all una. So would he appeal for all the various missions. Una invite una communities. All the missions, una invite members of una communities for this meeting when the leader one can visit una. So that we fit get a good conversation. Una look the various leaders of una communities and una invite them. May all man participate. The phone number for the Executive Office or Governing Council of Ambazonia there for here. Any Ambazonia, no matter place where you're there for the world. We want count on you and your support. The leader don't give we get 28 days left Just 28 days for put enough arms for a very strategic location for Ambazonia. Very strategic places for Ambazonia. For the stabilization force. A lot of training to go on right now for the second batch of the stabilization force. So in the next 30 days, we need to raise a lot of money for deliver those materials for the second phase of the stabilization force. For knock Cameroon off completely for Ambazonia. Now the places will move there. So we need all man make it come together. Everybody. Now last 5 days, we move in now for waiting when I call and say last 5. For knock Cameroon off. You know, say there are days for Ambazonia don't come to an end. You know so. Now we for be offensive. Extremely offensive. And for the forces them for doing, they require our support. As we don't talk, we would reach out to every person and make you know wait. What phone number there for you? Call me, just like a brother for UK call today. A big brother for UK call. And they talk say they get £2,000 for sending for the stabilization force. It's because it be very critical. So we'll do this work as we do the first work. He called. He said they get £2,000 for send them. I said, be correct, man. As when I don't gather, put this money together. We expect, we call on all Ambazonians, our business people them, our professionals, our people them for South Africa, our people them for Dubai, any place where you dey. Make that extra sacrifice. Make that extra sacrifice for our people them. Make we take our destiny and our own. Collectively. For all man. Ambazonia be big enough where any man will get a role for play. There's no need for people for the fight. For a homeland will never be liberated. For the fight for titles. For a land where we need for first liberator. There's no need. No, we'll focus on the liberation. The time for the politicians then. For go argue for Boya. For go argue for Manfe. For go argue for Kumba. They for go argue for Kumbo. That time will come. For now, the forces, General Efang, they count on we. Just as we deliver the first one, we will deliver the second one. The leader don't talk and fine. For the transition phase, all man will come together. All right? Now they talk this for today. I'm going to wait for one calls. I'll be very grateful for the people who already call and already commit. We'll be very grateful. On Friday, Ambazonia for Europe, all Ambazonia already for outside Ambazonia, they will get salary or you will get their weekly pay. So on Friday, I will come for do fundraising. As you get that weekly pay, you go come pay, you go take a percentage of your weekly pay and put them for the liberation for Akamatsu, for the second phase of the stabilization force. As a patriotic responsibility for end the suffer for our people and for ground zero. So on Friday, I go come with all una, I go can the back. Alright? I go can kneel down for all una, back una. Say take 20%, 25% for your pay. Take that $200 for your pay. Just take $200. Put them. Take $500, put them. Take $100, put them. So on Friday, I beg, as you dey take that pay, know say the stabilization forces, ground zero, did wait. If we just sacrifice these next 30 days, make we sacrifice as much as we can. We stretch ourselves as much as we can. We just give up a little bit, a cup of coffee here, a cup of coffee there, ice cream here, ice cream there. You take that money, you put them for the stabilization force. It will make a big difference for how fast we take over our country and how fast we gain the recognition. So I will talk on Friday. Between now and then, any person fit call me, we'll go story for back. Any place where you did for this world, we fit tell you how you fit send your money safely for the way we feel reach. And then when it reach, they receive them, they will send you an official receipt and a thank you letter from AGOVC Central Treasury. All right? We thank you as always. We'll be very grateful. Say all we would get the ability for come meet up and forget this conversation. Okay? May una stay fine. May God bless all una. For all our beginning we don't watch, as always, I want to tell una say we love una plenty. Una sabi say all this what good they do, and for make sure say una get better future. Una grow up for a safe country. Una get better water, clean water for drink. Una get fine place, fine quarter una feel live there, and una feel play for fine quarter for place will be clean, for a clean environment. To make sure say even when you dey sick, they carry you, they go for hospital, you will go for better hospital way, a better doctor, where if you talk with mommy for pidgin, and if you make tests for know exactly what to be wrong with you, and then they give you better treatment. And our government, you go pay them. Papa and mommy, they no go pay nothing. All right? For all our big mommy them, all this work, we wanna grand picking them that they do them. Who they do them? And for make sure say mommy, wanna live for see this independence. Wanna small years they remain. We want wanna live, wanna see this independence. So that wanna feel come off outside, wanna dance, wanna celebrate, wanna thank God. Say wanna great, wanna grand picking them. They stand up for make sure say wanna be free. And for make sure say wanna die with happiness, with dignity, for a land where you don't be free. Wanna get a good night. We love una. For all our forces them. We want thank una for the work we don't do them, for the Ambazonian people them. For all our refugees them. Wanna get the confidence and wanna stand strong. The days they be numbered. They come home soon to a free homeland. To all our prisoners, will they be locked up for the various concentration camps of La République du Cameroon and within the occupied territory. We will be free very soon. We love una. Una stay strong. Una get a good night. May God bless all man.